Imagine dropping $2,000 on the most advanced, futuristic smartwatch Garmin has ever made, only to realize a few months later that you just paid for a first-generation prototype. Right now, the Fenix 8 Pro, with its massive micro-LED display, is the ultimate status symbol in the fitness world. But behind the scenes, a single line of code was just spotted hiding inside the Garmin Connect app. And it practically confirms what power users have been whispering about for weeks. The Garmin release cycle is moving much faster than anyone expected. If you are on the fence about upgrading your watch today, put your credit card away. Because the most dangerous Garmin to buy right now isn't an old, outdated model, it is their most expensive one. Here is exactly what that leaked code means, why buying the Fenix 8 Pro right now is basically paying $2,000 to be Garmin's beta tester, and what they are desperately rushing to fix with the Fenix 9. Let's start with the leak, because context is everything. Recently, data miners digging through the back-end code of the Garmin Connect app found a direct reference to a device called the Enduro 4. On the surface, if you're a Fenix fan, a new Enduro watch might not sound like a big deal, but if you know Garmin's historical playbook, this is a massive red flag for current buyers. Historically, the Enduro line and the Fenix line are siblings. They share a chassis, they share an operating system, and most importantly, they share a release window. The Enduro is basically a Fenix on steroids, stripped of a few battery-draining features to maximize ultra-endurance battery life. Finding the Enduro 4 in the software code right now means Garmin is already in the final testing phases of their next generation of outdoor watches. This isn't just a sketch on a designer's whiteboard. It is in the app. It is communicating with Garmin's servers. And that brings us to the $2,000 elephant in the room, the Garmin Fenix 8 Pro. Currently, the Fenix 8 Pro comes in two main flavors. You have the AMOLED version starting at roughly $1,200. And then you have the Halo product, the micro-LED version, pushing all the way up to $2,000. Micro-LED is incredible technology. It is brighter, sharper, and technically immune to the screen burn in that plague standard OLED panels. It feels like the future of smartwatches. But wearing the future on your wrist right now comes with a massive, undeniable compromise: battery life. Garmin built its entire reputation on watches that you charge once a month. But if you look closely at Garmin's own spec sheets, the standard AMOLED Fenix 8 Pro gets up to 27 days of battery life in smartwatch mode. The $2,000 micro-LED version, just 10 days. Let that sink in for a second. You are paying an $800 premium for a display that literally cuts your battery life by more than half. For an ultra-endurance athlete, or just someone who hates carrying proprietary charging cables on vacation, 10 days is dangerously close to standard Apple Watch Ultra territory. And for a Garmin, that is tough to swallow. This is the classic early adopter tax. When a company introduces a radical new hardware component, the first generation always struggles with efficiency. And this is exactly why the Enduro 4 leak, and by extension the looming Fenix 9, is so important. The Fenix 9 doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. It just needs to optimize it. If Garmin is already preparing their next product cycle, all rumors point to a massive correction in battery efficiency. The Fenix 9 is expected to feature a second-generation micro-LED controller, one that doesn't drain the battery the second the screen wakes up. But that is not just about the screen. There are three other major pain points the Fenix 9 is poised to fix, and they are exactly why you should wait. First, the user interface and mapping speed. For $2,000, the Fenix 8 Pro is a great watch, but panning and zooming through topographic maps still feels a step behind flagship smartphones or the Apple Watch. The processors inside Garmin watches prioritize low power consumption over high frame rates. But with the Fenix 9, Rumors suggest a new chipset architecture, something that can finally render maps smoothly without instantly killing the battery. Second, the sensors. Garmin has always been the king of biometric data, but the heart rate sensor package in the Fenix 8 series was largely an incremental update. The Fenix 9 is heavily rumored to introduce a completely overhauled Elevate sensor suite, potentially integrating non-invasive hydration tracking or deeper recovery metrics that actually leverage AI to tell you when to rest, rather than just spitting out a raw stress score. And finally, the ultimate dream feature: solar AMOLED. For years, Garmin users had to choose. Do you want the beautiful, bright, colorful screen? Or do you want the dull memory in pixel display that allows for a solar charging ring? Garmin has already filed patents for integrating solar charging directly beneath the sub-pixels of an AMOLED and micro-LED display. This means the Fenix 9 could be the first true hybrid. A watch with a stunning, ultra-bright screen that actively charges while you run without a thick, ugly solar border ruining the aesthetic. So, where does that leave you today as a buyer? Let's be practical. If your current watch is broken, dead, or literally falling off your wrist, and you need a Garmin today for an upcoming marathon or expedition, the regular Fenix 8 is a fantastic piece of tech. Even a discounted Fenix 8 Pro AMOLED makes sense if you can find a good deal. But if you are eyeing that micro-LED model, if you are reaching for your wallet because it feels like the future of wearables, stop, take a breath. Waiting is the smartest move you can make right now. The Fenix 9 doesn't even need to be a revolutionary leap forward to completely destroy the resale value of the Fenix 8 Pro Micro LED. It simply needs to fix the battery life. It needs to thin out the chassis. It needs to offer a better overall value. The Garmin release cycle is clearly moving. The code leaks prove it. Don't pay $2,000 to be Garmin's beta tester. Let someone else take the hit on the first-generation hardware and save your money for the watch that actually gets it right. What do you think? Is the micro-LED screen worth the battery sacrifice today, or are you holding out for the Fenix 9? Let me know down in the comments.